Hi everyone, welcome to Honey Drops Tarot. This is a reading for the sign of Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. Thank you so much for being here, for all of your likes, shares, and subscribes. Please note I will never reach out to you for any personal readings, and don't trust anyone that reaches out to you for a personal reading. Tarot readers on YouTube, that's just not how we do, which is so weird for me to say because I just became a YouTube tarot reader like a week ago. So, but even before then, I never reached out to people first. I do offer private readings, and you can find information regarding that in the link in my About box. I also have a link for donations if you feel so inclined, and I thank you in advance. Aquarius, we're doing your reading today with the Tarot of Mystical Moments, and the Oracle will be the Wild Unknown Archetypes deck. So I'm going to pull 5 cards for your spread, 5 cards for clarifying, and 1 Oracle deck at the end. The cards have been pre-shuffled. I'm just going to shuffle now for your spread. I never choose the cards, I just let them flip out. It's something one of my YouTube tarot teachers taught me, as it may, wow. It may, if I choose them, it may influence the energy with my energy, which is not, I'm just going to take a little drink of water. I burned some Palo Santo in between readings, and so I think the smoke just kind of got to me. 5 cards came out so far, a few major arcana here and there. Oh, several major arcana. You may have Libra placements in your chart because some of the cards did come out for Libra, though not all of them. So when I say major arcana, I'm referring to the cards at the beginning of the tarot deck, which represent divine energy. So Spirit's hand, or having a hand in the circumstances that coincide with that energy. When I say major arcana, I'm talking about the first 22 cards of that deck. The last, the tail end of the deck, which are the minor arcana, are the energies that you and I can influence in the material world. So our day-to-day, our activities, our decision-making, our actions, right? So the first 2 cards you have for your past position. This is the first time I think I've seen the Wheel of Fortune for any of the readings so far, and it is in reverse. It's kind of an amazing, feels very steampunky. Feels very steampunky. Wheel of Fortune represents the energy of Jupiter, the largest planet in our solar system, which is considered very lucky. When I like to think of Jupiter in this way, that if Jupiter wasn't where it was, we would cease to exist, because the gravitational pull of Jupiter is what keeps all of the asteroids in the asteroid belt at bay, because they get sucked into the gravity of Jupiter. I don't know why I had to tell you that, but it felt kind of relevant. So, you know, Spirit wanted me to say it. There's some things I want to point out in this card, other than the obvious machinery, cogs, the kind of combination of industrial and Baroque or lushness. She has a pocket watch kind of dangling from her hand, and in one of the cogs is her heart. You got this card in reverse. So in your past, there may have been something that was not coming forth right away. It wasn't the right time, the right person, the wrong time, the right opportunity, the wrong time. I want to say that it's funny because in the Libra reading that I just did, I saw the image of like a wrench in the machine, and I literally saw the wrench kind of tumbling towards a machine. And I didn't get this card, but I see that image again, that there was a wrench that messed up the cogs in the system, that there were certain things that had to come into place first, and in the past it just didn't work out in the way that you were hoping. You know, we can see these things as blessings in disguise with the Four of Cups energy, minor arcana. Oftentimes when we see umbrellas in the tarot, they represent a kind of protection from spirit. So if you imagine this is spirit kind of holding you and shielding you from the elements. Four of Cups can sometimes talk about an energy of apathy. So you can see here kind of arms crossed, heart chakra, solar plexus, sacral blocked, kind of the centers of intuition blocked, the heart space or creativity kind of blocked. There could have been really massive, not massive, okay, I want to take that word back, a slight disappointment, not a massive disappointment, just a, you know, it's not to say that this card can't flip upside down, could do it tomorrow, but this is just taking the temperature on your feeling and your energy at this moment. Pull cards tomorrow for you, they'll be all different cards. So, but in this past energy, there was a disappointment. Spirit is telling me take that as a blessing in disguise, that they were protecting you from something that may not have been in your best and highest good. We can never know these things, right? And sometimes it's not for us to know. We have to trust. That's what faith is. So often when like my mom and I are caught in traffic on the way to work, she gets very frustrated by, you know, as any driver would, it gets frustrated by the traffic. And I always think to myself, okay, maybe we're delayed because there's an accident ahead, or there could have been an accident and Spirit was just saying, no, like, hang back, it's okay. There's a reason why you're stuck in this traffic and not moving forward, because something up ahead might not be for you. So got to trust that that relationship or that job or that thing that fell through just wasn't for us. We can never know all the reasons why. We just have to trust. That's not always an easy message. It's not a message that people want to hear, but I do believe that it is part of the reading. In the present energy, you have the Two of Cups in reverse. This is actually the cover image for this deck, Tarot Mystical Moments. So beautiful. This often can represent divine union. So you and a partner can also represent the relationship between you and your higher self. So it's this idea that you have the you that's on planet Earth and the soul you that is in another, you know, if we're in the 3D, there's a 4D, there's a 5, 6, 7, 8. There's this idea in spirituality, in spiritual communities, that we are simply an avatar of our soul. And if you subscribe to that line of thinking, that we are both here and eternal, that if those two energies were somehow disconnected, or there was some kind of barrier between your life and your heart's desire, your soul's desire, that there would be a disconnect between the two figures here, right? They start out as the same and then they kind of branch out to operate in different ways. It's very difficult sometimes to get back to that center. Like, how do you connect with your higher self? What does that look like if you've never done that before? For me, and I can only speak from my own experience and with this in particular, I talked about this in an earlier reading. I did a guided meditation with a person who is a friend and a spiritual leader. And in that meditation, you know, her meditation was very, you know, just imagine yourself with this white light coming through, and you're clearing out all of your energy centers and allowing downloads to happen, etc., etc. I suddenly got this flash of meeting my higher self, and she told me her name was Lavender. She was like a ball of light, and she gave me a skeleton key, and it was so poignant because I love skeleton keys. I don't know why, but she gave this to me as a gift. And a few weeks ago, I was walking outside of my apartment and I found this skeleton key on the ground. I turned it over and it looks like this. And there's a little jewel attached to it, so I think it belonged to somebody's necklace, you know, their costume jewelry, or they're going to a concert or something. But I took it as a sign, because everything in our world, if we open our eyes and open our minds and hearts to it, we can see symbols and synchronicities come through. And Spirit wants me to talk to you about that, because perhaps as an air sign, you know, and you're kind of one of the one of the more daring air signs, I would say. Geminis are pretty up there too, but Aquarians, they march to the beat of their own drum. So they're following some kind of internal guidance system that tells them to move right when everyone else moves left. Right? But there could be a very significant disconnect between you and your hopes and dreams right now, or you and something that you care deeply for, and it's causing you to feel a little bit unsettled. And clarifying that is the Justice card in reverse. So this represents Libra energy in the major arcana. We can see here that this character is absolutely towering over these. I love the mixture of kind of industrial and Renaissance or Baroque or whatever this period is. The sword is pointed up, and in the tarot, swords represent air energy. So this does represent your element. It also represents clarity and truth and balance. You did get this card in reverse, though. This Justice card can talk about legal systems and legal court cases. If you want to get very 3D about it, material world, there could be some court case that is driving you insane, or inheritance that is in question, something that is in a stagnant energy right now. Or it could be talking about a karmic situation where there are people in our lives that are placed in our lives to teach us lessons. These are what we would call karmic partners. Perhaps we have not learned the lesson yet. Right? If we don't learn the lesson, we are doomed to repeat it. So there could be something in your present energy right now. Maybe you made a decision that and I'm not judging this, it's using it as an example. Take it as it resonates. Maybe there's a situation in your life right now where you made a decision that you weren't really proud of, or maybe you felt like your hands were tied. You didn't have a choice. Maybe you did have a choice, but you didn't feel like you had a choice at the time. Or the choice that you took was the easier choice? I'm not sure. Take it as it resonates. But something right now, it's like telling me that in the present moment, you're still going through that karmic lesson. I don't know, maybe somebody did something to you and it feels like a betrayal. And you're kind of disconnected from that friend or that person, and you're just wondering, well. So now I'm seeing these two cards sit next to each other on the table. So now Spirit is kind of telling me perhaps that situation, for those people that resonate with the betrayal friend storyline. Remember, this is a general reading. That maybe that friend took a piece of your good fortune. Maybe you were trying to go into business with somebody and they took your idea, or they capitalized on it before you could, or something. And maybe now you're locked in a court case. You're not sure how it's going to turn out. And what a disappointment, because you lost your friend in the process. That is a very specific example. It might only resonate with one person out there. But I do see a disconnect and a need to get back. Even if this involves another person, in the end, we need to get back to the self, right? That we can't control what other people do. We can only control our reaction to that situation. So if we're talking about karmic balance here, bringing things back into karmic balance, if someone has slighted us, abandoned us, betrayed us, the solution is not to seek a harsh retribution. They will receive their punishment or their energetic boomerang, because I don't want to call it punishment, but they'll just receive their energetic boomerang in due time. It's not for you to make that happen, although you could. Spirit wants you to stay high vibrational, stay high vibe, stay in a place of breathing in forgiveness. It's really hard, but ultimately, if you don't, it's just going to hurt you in the end. In your forward position, in your future position, you have two major arcana. You have the High Priestess in reverse. This is the High Priestess in the upright, representing Pisces energy, that she literally stands at the veil between this life and the next. She's very psychic. She's mute. She doesn't say anything, but she sees all, says nothing, observant, completely rooted in the intuitive senses, the psychic senses. Anytime you see a moon in tarot, we're talking about things that are secretive or mysterious, energies that are hidden beneath the surface. And you have this card in reverse in your future energy, clarified by the Emperor in reverse. So this card in reverse, the Emperor is usually one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful figure in the tarot, as someone who, no, depending on your attitude about the tarot and what you see as powerful. The Emperor has everything going for him or her, can be represented. This is just representing divine masculine energy. We have masculine, divine feminine, divine masculine energy within all of us. I can inhabit Emperor energy or Empress energy. The idea here in the future tense is that Spirit is asking you either one of two situations. They're asking you either to speak up, or they're asking you to really tap into your intuition more, because there's something, well, okay, what I'm hearing is that this feels very kind of, it's like ominous. I don't mean it to sound ominous, but I do want it to be helpful to you. If you continue on a path where you have to be competitive, ultra competitive with somebody else, you have to be the best, you have to be the winner, you have to be the first, you have to be the this, with somebody with specifically somebody that has slighted you, then you're going to go down this path where you're going to kind of lose yourself, like lose touch with your intuitive side, lose connection with your gut instinct about things. Because when we are in a competitive energy, that's a place that's stemming from the ego. It's a place where we feel like we have to be the best and we have to be right. That's all ego based. And having a healthy ego is great. We want to compete with ourselves, right? We want to up the ante for ourselves and improve ourselves, right? But when you start looking too much at external validation and status, hierarchy, right? When you don't achieve that hierarchy, even if it's in a temporary, then you start to feel angry and resentful. And that is not an ideal vibration to be in. Aquarians, they want to be light and airy and freewheeling is what I wanted to say. Freewheeling. They want to have a wide berth. They want to stretch their arms out and kind of try new things, and they are the entrepreneurs. As there are a few signs that specifically are great entrepreneurs. Aquarius is one of them. Capricorn is another. Can't imagine if you were a Cap, Aquarian, cusper. My God. So in this future energy, be really, really mindful of listening to yourself and your intuition. And when you start to feel like you're kind of, things are running away from you, perhaps your feelings running away from you, just bring it back to center, meditate. I heard hold some crystals, ground yourself. It's important for an air sign to ground themselves, meaning be in nature, walk barefoot. I would say hug a tree, why not? But you can ground yourself against a tree. Sit in the sunlight, vitamin D, just to energize the light space within you. Okay, this is not an easy reading, Aquarius, but it's the message that wants to come out. Remember, I pull cards for you tomorrow, all different cards. You have the ability to affect change. Every moment is full of possibility, so you can affect change this evening, if you so desire. Okay. Some more cards in reverse for advice from Spirit. You got the Queen of Pentacles. This is she in the upright. Beautiful card. Beautiful card. I'm noticing the fern leaves, kind of extension of her hair. They are very feather-like. Fern leaves always reminded me of feathers, and I'm being really drawn to that right now. There are rabbits in the corner here, representing a kind of abundance and fertility. Queen of Pentacles as earth energy. You got that in reverse, so kind of Spirit's kind of saying, be mindful of your finances at this time and your stability. With the Magician clarifying that, and the Magician in reverse, there are still some things in play. What I want to say is, whatever endeavor this was related to, the Wheel of Fortune, that was in delay, it's time to revisit it in a different way. The Magician has, when the Magician is in the upright and in its fullest energy, the Magician has the power of all four of the suits in the tarot. So there's creativity and abundance, strategy, and a clear path. There's desire and passion and ignition, that spark, and also it's coming from a heart space, right? It's a path we were destined to be on. When you are in high vibration and you inhabit that manifestation energy, you can get anything you want. You can make miracles happen. You can make magic happen. Right now, you're kind of struggling. Maybe you don't feel like you have all the resources, and Spirit is saying, turn that around. You have everything you need. It may not look the way you think it should look. It may not look the way that you've been taught that it should look. So for example, if you wanted to start a business, and I like to use business because it's like it can be like a neutral topic as opposed to like it's about your relationship and your marriage, right? Unless that comes through, which it's not necessarily. Let's say you wanted to start a new business and you're just like, I can't start this business unless I have $300,000 startup money. It's not to say you can't get your $300,000, but that if you are hell-bent on that and fixated on that, and you can't do anything until you have that money, you will never get started on anything. There's so much more to running a business than just having capital up front. First of all, the idea has to be there, and it has to be somewhat formed. It has to be as evolved as an idea. Who are your collaborators? How are you going to fit it into your schedule? Do you have a business plan mapped out? Do you have connections? Do you have an audience or clientele for your product or your idea? These are all things, and maybe you have all those things, I don't know, but Spirit is kind of saying that you may not have the capital right now, but there's plenty at your disposal, like your intelligence and your resourcefulness and your voice to make things happen. It's like meeting the universe halfway. You step towards one step towards the universe, they take 10 steps towards you, right? So Aquarians know this too, which is why it surprises me that it's coming out in advice from Spirit, because maybe you have felt kind of disconnected from yourself lately, disconnected from yourself, disconnected from your intuition, because you experienced some kind of blow, setback, disappointment, and you're just like, I don't know, maybe I should give up on this. I've been wanting this for years, it's still not happening. Don't do that. Don't do that. It's really tough though, because in your last column of this is how you see yourself, Queen of Wands, you see yourself as capable, confident, beautiful, loving. But it's clarified by the Three of Swords in reverse. This is the hardest card in the entire deck. Three of Swords, as you can see, it's like heartbreak, betrayal, letdown, just really tough air energy that you haven't moved past, because if you had moved past, it would be in the upright, because then it's almost like we're working through this, it's temporary, then we're going to move on to the Four of Swords. Four of Swords in tarot is recuperation. So it's almost like you know that you're capable, you know that you have what it takes, but you're stuck in that disappointment energy. Spirit is asking you, please, please, really dig deep in yourself, meditate on it, release it, cut cords. They're cord cutting meditations. Cut cords with the energy that is keeping you stagnant. Really, really get outside, get out in nature, connect with loved ones. Remember your high vibration and who you are, and that you're meant for a prosperous and fruitful life that is not burdened by any kind of Debbie Downer situation. I'm going to pull your oracle card now. Got the Flame. How beautiful. Look at that. I mean, and Queen of Wands energy and the Flame. This is a beauty. It's almost like I see this as the road into the distance, and the further you walk along your path, the closer and closer you're going to get to that warmth, that sustenance, right? But you have to be the one to create that spark, and you have to be in the right energy to do that. So let's read from the book. I'm reading from the book of the Wild Unknown Archetypes by Kim Krans. Amazing. The fire, the spark, the glimmer. In Sanskrit, the word for fire is Agni. The ancient yogis saw this flame at the center of the abdomen and believed it to be responsible for our vitality. When it is lit, we are connected to our purpose and sense that life is a sacred gift. It is said that those who cannot see the sacred around them have let their inner flame go out. Think of this card as a call to reignite that fire, to cup your hands gently around those things you've forgotten. Protect the flame, no matter how harshly the winds around you blow. Could be an inner archetype that begs you to light its wick. It is likely that the poet, the mystic, or the shaman would call to you with the language of the flame. The poet, the mystic, the shaman. I would add that to one more, to that would be high priestess. Getting in touch with your inner self, capturing, again, that yellow solar plexus chakra in your abdomen, your gut feeling, following it always, always, always. Even if there are people that doubt you, just say, nope, that's what I feel, it's what I feel. So I hope you enjoyed that reading and you got something useful out of it. If you did, please like, share, subscribe to this channel, and leave a comment if you did. I really appreciate that. And remember, it's just a reading for today. Tomorrow it's another day, another opportunity to make changes in your mindset, in your actions, in your relationships. And I hope that whatever you do, it's for your best and highest good. Thank you, Aquarius.